What's going on, guys? I'm going live today. It's kind of random. I probably should have done a better job planning this out, but as some of you guys know, my lady's pregnant, and we have a lot of doctor appointments, and we're getting closer and closer to when my baby's due. So it's a little bit more difficult to go plan everything out, make videos, or go live when I regularly go live. So I'm not going to be going live tomorrow, unfortunately, for a bunch of reasons. So I'm going live today. Hopefully, you guys are able to join, and my random going live doesn't prevent enough viewers from coming on. But there's a lot of stuff to talk about in boxing. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that sanctioning bodies now excuse me, the IBF, the WBO, and the WBC are considering not sanctioning fights with Russian fighters, and this is not only gonna it's gonna affect one of the fights we most are anticipating, and that's um, Joe Smith versus Alturbaturbiev. That's a fight in the light heavyweight division that a lot of people have been asking for because those are two hard punchers, and it's a three belt unification. It's something that I find, to be honest, disgusting on the part of the sanctioning bodies, and that's no surprise because sanctioning bodies never do anything that the fans want, never do the right thing. They're always just doing it's funny. The WBA, which is the most disgusting out of all of them, is the only one that's still going to sanction fights for Russian fighters. I understand not sanctioning fights in Russia because of the war and because you don't support the war, but what do the athletes have to do with that? Let me know. Yes, of course, Putin is a big boxing fan, and maybe you don't want to make him happy by having a Russian fighter fight and possibly win and having that as a symbolism of something. But if the Russian fighter themselves hasn't come out and said anything along the lines of the support of the war or support of Putin, how can you justifiably take away their opportunity to fight for a title, take away their what they've worked for? There's a lot of sweat and pain and blood that they put in. Can you imagine working so hard all the way to, and then a war breaks out? Your country, who you have no part of in terms of political power, just because they go to war, your fights can't get sanctioned just strictly because you're Russian, not because you're tall, not because you duck somebody, not because just you tested positive for drugs. Just because you're Russian, they're not going to be sanctioning your title fights. That's honestly, that's, I don't even know how that's legal. How is that legal? That's racism. It really is. It really is. So you're not going to give me the opportunity that I worked hard for in terms of defending my belt or fighting for a belt because I'm Russian. That's wrong, and I'm not even Russian, and I find that to be honestly quite disgusting, quite disgraceful. I really don't understand it. If you guys remember in the Olympics, the Russian team, at least in the boxing, I can't speak for other sports, but the boxing team, they're Russian. The Russian fighters, the Russia was suspended, but they allowed the athletes to compete, and they were representing. They couldn't have their flag. They were called like the Russia Corporation or something like that, and they gave it a different designation. But the point is, they still got to compete and try to go for a medal. Why not do that? Why not just, okay, you just can't have your anthem, you can't bring out your flag, but you still get to compete in fights? That's how the WBA, these all these sanctioning bodies should be handling it. From what again, the WBA said that they're not gonna take part of this. So the fight with Dimitri Bivol and Canelo Alvarez is still going to be sanctioned by the WBA. It's still a title fight, even though Dimitri Bivol is Russian. And quite honestly, that's how it should be. I'm in total agreement with the WBA. This is a historic moment where I'm actually over here praising the WBA's decision to still sanction Russian fighters. It's ridiculous that this is even a consideration. It really is. It really is. But this is the type of dumb shit that happens in boxing. This is the type of dumb shit that happens in boxing, man. It really is. Let me see if I could screen share the tweet from Michael Benson. Michael Benson, by the way, he has one of the best Twitter pages because he gets a lot of tweets from other people, and he just basically quotes them. So, if you're just following Michael Benson, you'll pretty much get all the boxing news you need. Hold on one second, guys. Let me boom. All right. Also, I want to talk about Anthony Joshua, so we'll talk about that. But first, I want to show you the tweet from Michael Benson and what he had to say about this. Screen share. All right. Boom. All right. The WBC, IBF, and WBO have now stated that they will no longer certify the title fights involving boxers from Russia following Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Appears this may impact Artur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr., but WBA not involved, so not Canelo Alvarez versus Dmitry Bivol, which is basically what I just stated, but I wanted to read exactly to you guys what I saw and how I feel about it. Honestly, I'm very disappointed in these the way the sanctioning body is acting. I really, really am. I really, really am. And again, I'm not rushing myself. So you guys will be like, oh, why is this upset you? Yeah, because if you do something wrong to one country, you can do it to another. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I'm not in support of Russia invading Ukraine and taking over that. I'm not in support of that at all. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But what does that have to do with Artur Beterbiev or Dmitry Bivol or what other Russian fighters? There's a bunch of Russian fighters I can't name off the top of my head. But point is, what does that have to do with them? Them specifically on a micro level. What does that have to do with them? Especially when they're not somebody who's very outspoken in support of Putin. You know what I'm saying? Beterbiev lives in Canada. You know what I'm saying? He's long gone from Russia. And you're not going to sanction his title fights just because he was born somewhere that is going to war with another country now. Because that's exactly what's happening. Like when you really go down, when you really break it down to the crux of it, that's what's going on. The guy was born in a country that he no longer lives in, and that country that he was born in is now going to war, and now his fights can't be sanctioned by the belts. What the fuck kind of bullshit is that? I don't know. That's some weirdo shit to me. I really don't like it. And again, as you guys know, I'm a very outspoken person, and if I see something wrong, I'm gonna call it out. And this is wrong. This is wrong. I'm saying that because the athletes have nothing to do with the war. The athletes are not representing Putin in any kind of way. They're just out there representing themselves and their family. And yes, at times, do they do the Russian national anthem, or do they come out with their flag because they're a proud Russian? Absolutely. But when they're doing that, they're not doing that in the sense like, oh, I'm supporting the war. I'm this, I'm that. I'm pro Putin. They're like, no, listen, I'm Russian. Everybody here represents their country. When there's a Puerto Rican fighter, he comes out with his flag. When there's a Mexican fighter, he comes out with his flag, so on and so forth. Let the Russians do their thing. Now, because of the war, you don't want to do the anthem. You don't want them to come out with their flags. I respect that. But nah, my man, you're not going to fucking convince me that it's right for you to not sanction their fights when they haven't been part of the war. That's ridiculous, man. Also, but enough about that. Let's talk about Anthony Joshua. It looks like Anthony Joshua is closing in on the trainer. Well, at least, you guys can make of it what you want. But listen to this quote from him. This is from Anthony Joshua. I am a fan of boxing, away from actually competing in it. I listen to a lot of people that talk about boxing. At the minute, I'm listening to a lot of Virgil Hunter, who's an experienced coach. I've been listening to a lot of Virgil Hunter. So Virgil Hunter is actually one of the trainers that Anthony Joshua met up with. He hold on, let me put the link in the top of the chat in case you guys want to call in. But yeah, he's actually one of the trainers that he met up with and trained with for a couple days. So if he's now listening to his interviews, maybe he feels comfortable with Virgil Hunter. And to be quite honest, I don't think that's a good choice. Virgil Hunter is somebody who only pretty much trained Andre Ward successful. I don't really can't name you another successful person he's trained, but you know that's a choice that he's making. I feel like he's very soft spoken. I feel like Anthony Joshua needs a mean, aggressive alpha male in his corner. Somebody like a Teddy Atlas, who I keep talking about it because I want it to happen. I'm trying to speak that into existence. Or somebody like a Ronnie Shields, or somebody like a Joe Goosen. You know, somebody who's angry, somebody who's mean, somebody who's aggressive, even an Andre Rozier. Although Andre Rozier, I'm not sure if on a technical side he can help him, but he definitely could get him into that mentality of having a dog mentality. Rozier's from Brooklyn. You see how his fighters fight. They fight aggressive for the most part, whether it be Berlanga, Daniel Jacobs before he started fighting the way he fights now for whatever reason. He had Toriano Johnson. If you guys remember, he went to excuse me. He went to war. Toriano Johnson went to war with Munguia. And it was coming on strong late in that fight until he got his lip cut. He got his lip cut pretty bad. It was like split open real bad. But point is, he's somebody who could get that dog out of Anthony Joshua. And I feel like that's really what his problem is. His problem is not technical. And Virgil Hunter seems to be a person who focuses more on defense and on the psychological part of the sport. And although obviously I do think Anthony Joshua needs some help on the psychological side, but what I think he needs most is the aggressive mentality, the angry, the guy who's in there to kill. He needs some Terrence Crawford in him. He needs some Roberto Duran in him, some Mike Tyson in him, no, I'm here to fight. That's what he needs. And maybe he does have that in him, but he just doesn't trust his chin. But then when I hear his interviews, when I see him talk, I don't really get that from him. He's way too nice. Philip Hergovich, the heavyweight, he came out and said something like, yo, the dude smiles too much. He's always happy. He's this. Press conference. He's letting other people hold their belts. He's taking selfies with Usyk. And it's like, bro, what are you doing? He needs somebody in his corner to be like, yo, my man, come over here. Yo, that's not your friend over there, bro. It's okay to be respectful. It's okay to have sportsmanship. But it's not okay to be buddy-buddy with a motherfucker in the street. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Shout out to Boomerang. What's up, brother? Official boxing sources have stated so far that the fights will be canceled and no fights will be presented in Russia. They never mentioned the boxers. Well, they did mention the boxers. I just read a tweet about it. I don't know how long you've been on. I'll screen share it again though. But yes, they did mention the boxers. They said that they're not going to be sanctioning fights or ranking fighters who are of Russian descent. So that's not true what you just said. Hold on 1 second. Boom. The WBC, IBF, and WBO have now stated that they will no longer certify title fights involving boxers from Russia following Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Appears this may impact Artur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr., but WBA not involved, so not Canelo Alvarez versus Dmitry Bivol. So, Boomerang, shout out to you, but you were actually wrong. Yeah, yes, David Gregory, except the WBA. The WBA is the only one not doing that fuckboy shit. And I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong. How are you gonna justifiably not sanction fights of Russian fighters, some who don't even live in Russia? That's the part that bugs me out. I'm like, what? Like the dude, Beterbiev lives in Canada. And been living there for years, by the way. It's not like he just moved there once the war started. No, he's been living there for years. And he's a unified champion. And he's the lineal champion. But then you're going to tell me that you're not going to sanction his fighters? Come on, man. Like, come on. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. His fights, Yeah, man. Who? Hold on. You asking who is Michael Benson? Let me show you rather than tell you. Let me show you rather than tell you. Because I could tell you anything, but I'd rather show you. Says here, online boxing editor for talksport.com. All right. And he has 128,000 followers on Twitter. Trust me, this guy's not a nobody. This guy knows what he's doing, man. He's a very trustworthy source. What if you're Russian and you don't agree with the war? You still get screwed. Shaking my head. Absolutely. That's what I was talking about before y'all hopped on. I'm like, yo, this shit is ridiculous. How the fuck are you gonna tell me that a Russian fighter who's been working his life, working his ass off, taking punches, maybe lost a tooth one time, maybe got dropped in front of his girl in the sparring match, did all of this to fucking go make it to the pinnacle, make it to be a champion in Artur, a unified lineal champion in Artur Beterbiev. And now you're going to tell me you're not going to sanction my fights when I got a 3-belt unification lined up with Joe Smith Jr.? Get the fuck out of here, man. That's some bullshit. Some real bullshit. I'm very disappointed in these sanctioning bodies, and I'm gonna call it out. Y'all know I never had no hair on my tongue. Y'all know I'm never ever scared to say what I gotta say. I don't care who it offends or who don't like it. I'm gonna talk about it, man. That shit is wrong, man. Yo, the Russian fighters don't have nothing to do with it. The fight now, you want to put rules? All right, no anthem. You can't bring out your flag. I'm okay with that. Cool, but you gonna tell me that they're not allowed to, you're not going to sanction their fights? Get the fuck out of here. And I don't give a fuck who it offends. I said that. The WBO, IBF, and WBC, man. Y'all going to hear it from me. I don't give a fuck if I got 2 subscribers or 1,000. I'm going to talk about it. And it's wrong what y'all doing. It is wrong. Absolute wrong, man. These fighters, they're not the ones at war. And they're not, I haven't seen, please educate me in the chat. Have y'all seen any of these Russians giving support to Putin? Have y'all seen them tweet about or talk about it or anything on interviews? Nah, right? At least I haven't. Again, educate me in the chat if y'all seen something that I missed. I haven't heard none of these fighters talk about in support of it. For you to just take away their right of being a champion. Get the fuck out of here, man. I would never be supportive of that shit. Never. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Nah, because it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope, Like what happens when it's your country, you know what I'm saying? Or what happens like it starts here, but where there's an end. Like, okay, even if you want to say that you agree with it and this is justifiable for you, but there's a slippery slope. You opening up a door that you don't know when else they can do this again. When else what if your country voted no on something that the sanctioning body supports in the United Nations, and now they're not going to sanction your fighters? Oh, that's not unrealistic. How the fuck you know that? I thought this was unrealistic. It's a slippery slope, and they should not be opening that door of not sanctioning fighters just because of where they're from. That is wrong. Absolute wrong. And again, I'm not white and I'm not Russian. So y'all can't even say, oh, you just saying that because that's your people's. I'm obviously not white, and I'm obviously not Russian. So I am in no way supporting these people. The sanctioning bodies, excuse me. I'm not supporting the sanctioning bodies doing this to the boxers. Now, I completely understand them not wanting to sanction fights in Russia. I'm actually in agreement with that. There, you got me there. Hey, we're not sanctioning bodies. We're not sanctioning fights in Russia. Cool. I will vote on that. Yes. Don't sanction fights over there. Punish them that way. But don't punish the fighters. Absolutely not. Not on my fucking watch. I'm not going to stay quiet. Because this is a part of history we living through. This invasion of Ukraine, this is a part of history. They're going to probably make movies about this in 20 years. This is going to be in the history books in about 20 years. And we're going to be talking about this. And it's going to be marked down in history that when the sanctioning bodies tried to do it to the fighters, Broadway Joel was on live telling them, calling them out on their bullshit. Because it's wrong. It is wrong. And I don't give a fuck how anybody feels about it. Again, y'all know me. And most of the people here, this is not your first time on my live. Y'all know I don't got no hair on my tongue. And y'all know I'm ready to talk whenever the motherfucker something wrong happens. When there's a bad decision, I'm the first one to call it out. When there's a bad undercard and it's a pay-per-view, I'm the one telling you it's not worth buying. Listen to me when I'm saying this. If y'all fuck with me when I say that, listen to me when I say this. It is wrong to not sanction a fight just because a person is from a country that's at war. It is wrong. Absolute wrong. And yeah, I'm getting passionate about it because it's wrong, man. And I'm not going to sit here and not defend, the fighters. Get the fuck out of here, man. Who is this even punishing? Don't think Putin gives a shit about a boxing match. Well, Putin actually is a big boxing fan. He has a relationship with Roy Jones Jr. and there's one other boxer that he has a large relationship with. I can't remember the name. So, but yeah, like I totally agree with you. It punishes more the boxer than it does Putin. I'm sure Putin would want to see his fighters, but you think Putin right now is watching fights every day, or do you think he's focusing on the war? Like, I don't know. Let's put it on our logical hat on. Do you think Vladimir Putin is worried about if Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford is going to get made, or do you think if he's worried about taking over Ukraine? You're not doing shit to Putin. You're not sanctioning his fighters. He doesn't give a fuck. He's like, I mean, he probably's like, damn, I wish it's fucked up that this is happening to them. Well, anyways, yo, drop a bomb on this fucking corner of the country right here, or make sure you invade through the left side because the right side, that's what he's worried about. So you're not doing shit to Putin by not sanctioning his fight. He may feel bad for the fighters, but again, that's such a minuscule feeling of how he feels about this right here. It's like he's probably like, damn, that's fucked up. Anyways, so like I was saying, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna attack from the ground, because when you attack from the ground, they're gonna focus on there, and then we're gonna go on the airstrike, and then but then our guy, we're gonna infiltrate, and that's what he's planning shit out like that. He's not worried about no fights. Yeah, wrong is wrong. Absolutely, David. Absolutely. You're right. I'm wrong. Arslanbek Makhmudov, who also trains in Montreal, has been removed from the WBA and WBC heavyweight rankings, in the news in Quebec at 4 p.m. Yeah, you see what I'm saying, Boomerang? I told you, Michael Benson is a legit journalist, which is why I wasn't hesitant to share his tweets, because he's a very established person. Him and Jake Donovan is pretty much my two go-tos, because I know they're not going to bullshit me. Jake Donovan, that's my guy, man. He's been on my show twice. So shout out to him. Yeah, hold on one second. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all something. I'm going to screen share this too. So this is Mauricio Suleiman, that disgusting human being. The WBC, the WBO, and IBF join in an urgent plea to cease fire. So I'm assuming they put out a joint statement. Let me click on this link. I by the way, I have not read this article, so if it's some bullshit, just know I'm reading it as it's going. Let me see. All right. It says the WBC, WBO, and IBF join the sports world in an urgent plea to cease fire and end the war in Ukraine with the invasion from Russia. Effective today, our organizations will not certify any championship fights involving boxers from Russia and Belarus. That's interesting. I didn't know that Belarus also was included in this. We will constantly monitor ongoing developments, hoping this situation is resolved soon to reestablish normal life and activity. The boxing world is united for peace. The sports world is united for peace, and reject any form of war. Innocent lives are being lost and soldiers are dying from Ukraine and Russia. May God help to bring peace to our world. So there you go. That's a joint statement from the WBC, WBO, and IBF. That's a joint statement. So my man Boomerang, I know you said you already found out and you confirmed what I was saying, but if you had any doubt, there you go. That's a joint statement, which you literally just saw. It was from Mauricio Suleiman's Twitter account. Yeah, no, this shit is real. This shit is real, man. It really is. This honestly, what this does is it lets me know how serious this situation is in Ukraine. I think this is a bigger thing that we realize here in America. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth, man. I hope we can possibly get a nice um resolution here. Maybe NATO can get involved, maybe America, who knows? Whoever wants to get involved and create peace in that part of the world, I'm all for it. But I honestly think that that's, you know, something we should be concerned about. By the way, guys, if you guys want to call in, either talk about Anthony Joshua or anybody else, let me know. Or this Russian situation. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. That goes for anybody. If you called before, that's cool too. If you haven't called before, also cool too, man. Click that link at the top of the chat, please. But yeah, man, this Russian shit is crazy, man. It really, really is. It really, really is. Oh, by the way, did y'all see what's his name? Ryan Garcia and Canelo Alvarez? They had a whole little back and forth. So I'll break it down a little bit. Canelo Alvarez gave an interview to Ellie Sackback, who's the owner of ES News, and he basically said how Ryan Garcia wasn't very disciplined, that he would say, "Oh, I'll be here at 12," and then get there at 2. He would miss days at the gym and this and that. And Ryan Garcia came back with a comment and was like, "Well, I don't know what he's talking about because, as a matter of fact, let me read some of the quotes." Yeah, so I'm not like, you know, he basically, Ryan Garcia said he stopped training with Eddie because Eddie Reynoso didn't have enough time for him. And then this is one of the quotes. Let me screen share, matter of fact, so y'all can read along. So Virgil Ortiz left because Eddie never showed, insisted Garcia of the point when Ortiz was ready to secure a new trainer after parting ways with Robert Garcia. Heavyweight prospect Frank Sanchez had a fight where Eddie only showed up the day of the fight. So ask Canelo to explain that. So this is Ryan Garcia pumping up his chest a little bit, letting him know like, yo, you trying to say I'm not disciplined, but you don't know half the story. Your trainer wasn't training me. Let's stop the back and forth and focus on the fights at hand, noted Garcia. By the way, got nothing but respect for Eddie. It's just the truth. The truth also is that that's not even the main reason why. That main reason I left Deciders to part ways. Canelo knows why. I'm just going to keep it to myself and focus on the fight I have. So basically, my man Ryan Garcia is saying that there's other reasons, God knows why he left, but he doesn't want to speak on it. But if you want to, you can't question his discipline because Eddie Reynoso was almost never at the gym when he was at the gym, according to Ryan Garcia. And also, Virgil Ortiz pretty much said the same thing, to be fair. He pretty much said that, he trained in Eddie Reynoso's gym for about a month and that he was having trouble getting him to work out with him, and he realized that wasn't the training for him, and he moved on to Eddie Reynoso. To Manny Robles. That's who Virgil Ortiz is now training with. So it's like you got two young fighters saying the same thing about your trainer, and it's only Canelo Alvarez defending his boy, who's like almost like a brother to him. You don't think he has a reason and incentive to lie for his boy? So I believe Ryan Garcia, and especially when you consider how many fighters Eddie Reynoso has. He has Frank Sanchez, Andy Ruiz, Oscar Valdez, Canelo Alvarez, and then at the time, Ryan Garcia, and there's a few other fighters. He's also a manager for certain fighters. He's also a small-time promoter in Mexico. The guy's a really, really, really busy guy. So I believe that this dude had was too busy to train Ryan Garcia. Is too busy to train Virgil Ortiz, especially the guys he's training. Look, he's training Oscar Valdez, who's fighting for a unification fight. You know damn well that's going to take up his time. Canelo Alvarez, he's the main guy in the gym. He's always in the gym. He's getting a lot of attention. Andy Ruiz, Mexican heavyweight. You don't think that they see the opportunity of having a Mexican heavyweight, how big of a draw he could be, how much money he could bring in? You don't think there's going to be extra focus on there? and then you add in all the extra pieces that he's a manager, a promoter, and he does a lot of other things outside of boxing. It's like I believe Ryan Garcia, and I actually like that Ryan Garcia went with Joe Goosen. That actually is a good choice of opponent. I mean, opponent. You hear me? Trainer, because Joe Goosen is a real disciplinarian, somebody who's really tough on his fighters, and that's what Ryan Garcia needs. Ryan Garcia needs somebody to fucking kick him in the ass and push him and tell him like, "Come on, run and do this and do that." Although, and by the way, and when I say all that, I mean that for mental fortitude, not necessarily because I think Ryan Garcia is not a disciplined kid. Ryan Garcia is always working out and putting out videos on his Instagram. And I've never seen him out of shape. He always looks in good shape, six packed up, and he's never missed weight. So I can't say he's not disciplined. And on top of that he's never missed weight, he's always performed well, always knocking people out, always being entertaining. So I don't believe Canelo when he says that Ryan Garcia is not disciplined. But I do like the choice of his trainer, though. His trainer, if there is any discipline issues, it won't that shit won't rock with Joe Goosen. Joe Goosen is a tough motherfucker, dude. So no way, no how is that gonna happen. All the boxing fans in Quebec are furious. If you want to learn to swear in Quebecer, this is the time now. This is the right time. Better BF live in Montreal since 9-10 years. Yeah, first of all, yes, I do want to learn how to swear in Quebecer. So tell me a couple of curse words so I can know in case somebody's cursing me out in whatever. I guess y'all speak French over there. And y'all slang, I need to know. So yes, I do want to learn how to swear. And better BF, he's been living in Montreal for quite a while. That I know. Anybody who watches boxing obviously knows that because he's a big draw over there. So I would be furious too. You saying all the people over there are mad? I'll be mad too. Like your nationality should have nothing to do with your ranking or with your status of a belt. Absolutely not. It's unreasonable. Like I get when they do that in the Olympics. And the reason I don't want to be a hypocrite, and the reason why I agree with it in the Olympics, because in the Olympics, those teams are funded by the government. So you're actually hurting the government. The government used all their funds into something, and now they're not representing your country because of this war. I get that. But when a guy's a professional, the guy's a private contractor, and he is separate from his country. He's he's a private contractor. Yes, he may use patriotic things to promote himself, whether it be using his flag or making them sing the national anthem of their country. But I don't consider that as an extension of the country. Like he's not a part of the country to the point where if Russia does something bad, he should be punished. I don't agree with that. I don't understand it. And if you agree with that shit, listen, the link is always pinned to the top of the chat, and you could click that and we could have a conversation. Or if you want to talk about anything else in boxing, whether it be AJ, Ryan Garcia, Canelo, Demetrius Andre, Bivol, anybody, click that link on the top of the chat and we could have a conversation, man. Let me know. Yeah, man. It's a lot of crazy shit happening in this world, man. Crazy shit. I honestly, I never thought that would happen in my lifetime. I really never thought that. Never thought that. Yo, this dude De La Hoya is a clown, man. De La Hoya is a real clown. And hold on, let me read this to y'all. This article just got written on Boxing Scene. I'm just reading the headline. I'm not gonna read the whole article. He goes, De La Hoya goes, 3-4 years down the road, Garcia Canelo at 165. You just never know. I know, motherfucker, that shit ain't gonna happen. You telling me that in 3-4 years, Ryan Garcia is gonna gain 30 pounds and fight Canelo Alvarez? Come on, man. That's a ridiculous statement to say. You just never know. No, motherfucker, I know that shit's not gonna happen. Yo, De La Hoya be bugging, man. De La Hoya be bugging. Although, man, his promotional company, man, when they put on a fight card, they always do good. I just feel like they don't have the right horses. They don't have enough fighters to put on as many good cards consistently. But when they do put a card on, I'm always entertained. Like I like that Mungia on the fight. Like he was the main event. That has Zepeda on the undercard. They had another other guy, undefeated guy. I forget his first name, but it's Torres. He fought a really tough journeyman, and I came away very, very, very entertained with the whole card. And Golden Boy definitely does a good job usually when they put a card. But man, De La Hoya be bugging, saying some stupid ass shit like that. Yeah. Bivol will lose a lot of money. Well, actually, he won't lose a lot of money because the WBA is still going to sanction his fight. The WBA is not part of that organization. WBC, WBO, IBF. Bivol only holds the WBA, and they're not part of that. They're not going to stop sanctioning fights for Russian fighters, which I agree with. Which is it should be a fucking holiday today, March 1st, 2022. The fact that I actually agree with something the WBA did should be a holiday, but I think they're going about it the right way, to be honest with you. What do y'all think about all these fighters going to war? Like Usyk's out there, Lomachenko's out there, the Klitschko brothers, they're also out there, and they got guns, they got military, they got all that stuff. What do y'all think about that? I find it interesting. I am curious as to where that puts the Kambosos Lomachenko fight, where that puts the Usyk AJ fight. I'm very curious, but yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's crazy. How long does this war last? I hope not long. I hope they Putin gets into his senses, or you know somebody like whatever they got to do to make sure this doesn't continue. But yeah, I don't see that happening, unfortunately. I feel like we're just at the beginning. Well, I mean, we are at the beginning. It just started, but hopefully the end is near, but I doubt it. Also, guys, what do you guys think of the Chocolatico Roman Gonzalez versus Julio Cesar Martinez this Saturday, and Jose Pedraza versus Jose Ramirez this Friday? So we got a nice back-to-back days of fights, and two good fights, by the way. So I'm excited for this weekend. Both Friday and Saturday, great fights. If you guys want to talk about that, I'm picking Chocolatico. Martinez is good, but I feel like he's very offensive at times to his detriment. And we all know Chocolatico is a beast, man. Future Hall of Famer. Yeah. But guys, if you guys want to call in, link is pinned to the top of the chat. All you gotta do is just press it. We can have a boxing conversation. Y'all already know. Yeah, man. But what's up with y'all, man? Talk to me. Talk to me in the chat. Let me know what y'all thinking. Let me know. You got me out here freestyling. Yo, man, I'm really excited for the month of April. We got a lot of good fights. Let me see if I could pull that up. The month of April. Yeah, before I start naming it off the top of my head, let me see if I can find it so I could show y'all. Damn, I can't. But yeah, we got Shakur versus Oscar Valdez. We got Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. Those are two great fights. Spence versus Ugas, great fight, which also has a good undercard. What else? We got Lubin versus Fonfora. That's a good fight. Tony Harrison versus Sergio Garcia. That's all on the same card, by the way. That's a good fight. Who else? But April is stacked. And then on top of that, in May 7th, the week after the month that April finishes, we got Canelo. Woo-wee! It's going to be a lot of good boxing. I'm wrong and you right again. WBC, WBO, and IBF. Yes. It's all right, Boomerang. That's leave that up to the experts, man. That's why that's why you here. You here to get educated and you know and stay up to date with news. You know, it's funny. My brother is a big boxing fan, and sometimes I find it weird when people I actually know watch my videos. I'm used to like strangers, but he'd be like, "Damn, man, you be keeping me up to date. I didn't know, this fight was gonna happen. Oh, I didn't know that this promoter had this fight had a rematch clause or this and that." I'm like, "Yeah, you don't know." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So he genuinely gets his boxing news from watching my channel. Like, it's pretty crazy when you think when he talks to me and he talks to me like, "Oh shit, I didn't know." Like, let's just say he didn't know about this whole WBC, WBO, IBF thing. Like, he'll hit me up like, "Wow, like thanks for putting me on. I really didn't know." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So don't worry, Boomerang. You're not the only one that like gets their news from me. And the good thing, I always confirm with sources. You know, I got sources in the boxing game, which I should use a little bit more because then I could get you guys interviews. And I know you guys are starving for interviews. I've been talking about getting interviews for a little bit, but it's just when I have to go through somebody, it makes it hard. When I have to tell you to tell him, to tell him, to tell me when I can go to the gym and interview, it always gets lost in translation. And it's all next week, and then this, and then they don't coordinate. And it's like, it's frustrating. So I don't have quite direct connections just yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it when that happens so I can get you guys some exclusive interviews. Too much boxing news for me to keep up with. That's why I love your live streams. Just have them on in the background and get up to date. Yo, shout out to you, man. I'm honestly I'm not familiar with you. I've never seen you in the chat. Or maybe I have, I just don't remember. But yeah, no, shout out to you, man. Again, like my own brother tells me that. He tells me that's how he stays up to date. He watches my live streams. He's like, or watches when I edit up the video and put it up. He's like, oh shit, that fight got announced. I didn't know that. Like I remember when I told him about the Keith Thurman fight. When I made a video about Keith Thurman, and we ended up meeting up to hang out or something. And then he was telling me, he was like, damn, like I didn't know Keith Thurman was fighting. I'm like, he's like, yeah, it was you who put me on. I'm like, oh shit. Oh, all right, that's interesting. It was the video I made complaining why Keith Thurman versus Mario Vargas was a pay-per-view. That fight, that video, that's the one that I'm referencing. By the way, did y'all see that they're gonna investigate the judges for the Jack Catterall Josh Taylor fight? Let me give you guys just a heads up. That shit is not going to do absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So if you guys were wondering, like, oh, maybe this will get overturned. Oh, but you never know. And I know I've been around this block enough times to know that those investigations, usually nothing comes out of them. Nothing. I've never, ever, ever heard of an investigation happening and something coming out of it. Put it like this. There was an investigation on remember Maestre fought Michael Fox? And Michael Fox beat the shit out of Maestre and they still gave him the decision. There was one of the judges that was caught saying racist shit on Twitter, and the fight wasn't overturned. The fight was just, all right, you got that L. So I'm like, some bullshit. Some bullshit. These investigations be some bullshit, man. And I feel like these judges are a little too close to promoters and managers, man, because the boxing circles are small. So, you know, if I'm friends with you, right? I'm friends with you, and your fight is fighting on a card. Even if I want to be unbiased, subconsciously I may not be able to because I like you and you're a good guy and you bought me a drink one time, and you know, you made sure I stayed at the nice hotel as opposed to the shitty hotel one time that I had to do a fight in Vegas. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of little shit that we don't know, that you guys don't know as fans. But when you're a little bit on the inside, you see little funny shit like this happen. And then you go, oh, okay, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. These guys are gaining favoritism by little favors that they do for the judges. But, you know, this is a little dirty secret that nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about. The only person I give credit to that talks about it is Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas be calling these dudes out. He be saying, hey, man, these dudes be fucking. Oh, hold on. I got my man on. Hold on. Hey, bro, what up, bro?
I was waiting for the right time, Broadway. You finally got the right time slot for me. I put my
What's up,
boss.
yo? This is one of my guys. From he has a YouTube channel. It's called Black and Brown Boxing. He be wilding out there. One of my favorite YouTube boxing YouTubers. My guy, you remind me of me. Like you aggressive, you mean and shit like that. So I'm like, I've always wanted to have you on. So shout out to you for coming
Hell
on,
yeah.
bro.
No, I'm finally home at the house and I'm strolling through. I seen you live. I said, "Oh, here we go. I've been waiting for this, man. I gotta get on my boy's channel, man."
Yeah. I don't like that hat
I
though.
did it. I put it on just for you, Broadway. Just for you, man.
Oh man, I was like, damn, Red Sox, what's up with you, man? What do you think of this whole situation with the WBA, WBO, IBF, WBC? They're not going to be sanctioning fights for any Russian fighter.
I don't like it, man. I've been hearing different things about they're not going to sanction fights in Russia or fights that have something to do with Russia. But to hear that they're not going to sanction Russian fighters, like that's a little bit harsh. I don't think we take it out on the fighters. Like, I don't know, man. That's harsh to me. I understand if they don't want to sanction bouts inside of Russia. I understand that part. But to punish fighters that are competing in America or competing in the UK, I think it's a little bit harsh. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yo, it's ridiculous. I just went off. I don't know how long you've been watching,
No,
but
I didn't even see the title. I just seen you were live. I clicked the link.
Oh, okay. Yo, but I was flipping out because I'm like, yo, when you a boxer, you a private contractor, independent of your country.
Yeah.
And also when you open up the door of okay, we're not gonna sanction Russian fighters because their country's at war, you opening up a door. Okay, when's the next time you guys gonna do some fuck shit like this? You understand what I'm saying? Like, oh, what if my country doesn't vote for the same thing that your country voted in the United Nations? Are you not going to sanction my fighters now because of that? Or what? Like, where does this stop? I don't like it because it's setting a precedent that could be dangerous.
Yeah, I understand that. It's like they're opening up Pandora's box. Like, hey, you should not get involved in this. You're going too far with the fighters. Like, if you just say, hey, we're not doing nothing inside that country, then that's cool. But
that's cool. I'm cool with that.
When you start going at the fighters, I don't know, bro. I don't think that's going to affect Putin's decisions in no way, shape, or form. I don't see the point for it. So is this going to affect Dmitry Bivol?
The WBA is the only sanctioning body, and I fucking hate the WBA. So the WBA is the only sanctioning body that actually is still going to sanction Russian fighters.
Okay, so I guess we're getting lucky in that one, in that sense. But yeah. you think they're doing that for a reason, or are they waiting for the Dmitry Bivol fight to get out the way, or is it just coincidence? What do you think?
I think it's they don't want to screw around Canelo. They realize that's the cash cow, and he's like what's good for boxing, and if he already has a signed fight, and you're gonna take away the belt, they probably was just like, you know what, maybe after the Canelo fight we'll do that shit.
Yeah, and these sanctioning bodies, they kind of move like whichever way the money's leaning towards, they'll move that way. And this is what, $60 million, $50 million fight. So
yeah, that's a big sanctioning fee they're gonna collect.
Yeah, so it's probably really convenient for them to say, okay, let's wait a second, and then we'll kick in with the Russian fighters after this fight's over.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what it is. Also, did you hear that? Well, I'll read you the quote just so. But I'm thinking Anthony Joshua is gonna now train with Virgil Hunter after reading this quote. I'm gonna read it to you. He said, "I'm a fan of boxing, away from actually competing in it. I listen to a lot of people that talk about boxing. At the minute, I'm listening to a lot of Virgil Hunter, who's an experienced coach. I've been listening to a lot of Virgil Hunter. So if you remember when he came to America, he was training with a bunch of fighters, seeing, who he builds a rapport with. He was one of them. And now he's saying, oh, I've been listening to a lot of his interviews and doing this and doing that. It's leading me to believe that that's who he's going to choose as his trainer. What do you think?
I like it. I think he needs a change of scenery. I think he needs to attack this Usyk fight with a different style, with a different mindset. So if a different trainer is going to bring that to him, then I like it. I don't mind when fighters change trainers. I really don't. You know, it's like getting coaches from different styles, different parts of the world. I don't mind when fighters go and train with different coaches. And I think in this sense, he needs a change. He needs a change of scenery because Usyk is not easy. It's not an easy task, and it's going to be a hard code to crack to beat Usyk. And I think that he has the tools that he needs to beat Usyk. Someone just has to teach him how to use those tools. I think he has the size. I think he has the power. I think Virgil Hunter might just be the perfect pick for him to get on the inside and fight on the inside and do damage and do work on the inside. That's how I think he beats Usyk. Trying to stay at distance and box with him and be patient with him, all you're doing is just standing there for Usyk to pick you apart. You cannot be a stagnant target for Usyk. You have to put pressure on him, use your size, and you got to try to bully him and beat up on him. That's how you beat him, especially for Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, I totally agree with you in terms of game plan. I thought he should have been more aggressive, lean on him on the inside, make it a dirty fight, push him. Yeah. And you know, again, trust your power. I feel like Anthony Joshua almost at least let me not say in that fight, I felt like he almost forgot how hard of a puncher he is. Like a lot of people don't realize just how special Anthony Joshua's power is. I think he's only went to decision like 3 times or something like that in his whole career. So the guy has legit power and he needs to trust that a little bit more. I will disagree with you. I don't like the pick of Virgil Hunter as a trainer. I want somebody who's going to get that fucking dog out of him. So I liked him with Ronnie Shields. Ronnie Shields is an intense guy. Also trains the Charlo, one of the Charlo brothers. And you know the Charlo's brothers, you know they aggressive and they mean and shit like that. I feel like being around that energy may be good for him. You're also right. A guy like Joe Goosen, you know, Joe Goosen's like a tough dude. And my number one pick would be Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas is a real fucking goon. Been to Rikers Island, got a scar on his face, you know, shot a gun at Mike Tyson, pulled out a gun on Donnie Lalonde. Like a real aggressive man, somebody who's gonna bring that fucking dog out of you. And that's what AJ needs. AJ needs somebody to take that to this motherfucker always smiling, taking selfies with Usyk, letting Andy Ruiz hold the belts. You know damn well if Teddy Atlas was in his corner, that shit would not be happening. Teddy Atlas would be like, nah, do this, do that. You know, focus on the mentality. That's why he was so good with Mike Tyson and the amateurs. And Mike Tyson talks about how good Teddy Atlas was for his development because he worked his mind. And that's what Anthony Joshua's biggest problem is, not his skills.
I haven't seen the same Anthony Joshua since that third round of the Andy Ruiz fight. Go in that third round when he knocked Andy Ruiz down. If you go back and watch it, he's mixing it up in the middle of the ring. He's right there in the pocket. They're exchanging punches, and he sits Andy Ruiz down. He sat Andy Ruiz down in the pocket. They weren't at distance. They were in the pocket exchanging. Then Andy Ruiz gets up, and he hits Andy Ruiz with the hardest 1-2 I've ever seen. The only thing is Andy Ruiz ate it. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the punch that put Andy down. I'm talking about the 1-2 that he hits once Andy Ruiz gets back up. Okay. But Andy Ruiz, for some reason, ate it. He ate it. It didn't fade him.
And he was hurt when he got dropped.
And then he gets up and he eats the hardest right hand, the hardest straight right hand I think I've ever seen anybody get hit with. But a lot of people didn't notice it because they were so wrapped up in Andy Ruiz getting knocked down that they missed this straight right hand that just landed flush on Andy Ruiz's face.
Yeah.
But Andy Ruiz ate it and then he ended up exchanging punches and then he hurt Joshua. I haven't seen the same Joshua since. When he fought Pulev, he stayed at distance. He stayed safe. When he fought Andy Ruiz in the rematch, he stayed at distance. He stayed safe. And I think he might have got comfortable with that a little bit going into the Usyk fight. You know, stay comfortable, stay safe, be patient. But with Usyk, that's not going to work. He's going to pick you apart. He's a superior boxer. So that's not going to work with Usyk. You're going to have to get your hands dirty with Usyk and bully him like you said.
No, and one of the things about AJ is I feel like even when he starts getting aggressive, it's almost like he goes, "Oh shit, my chin." I almost feel like something clicks in his head. And he goes, "Wait a minute, yo, man, you have a weak chin, man. Stop being
Mhm.
so aggressive." And he backs off. And it's like, bro, this is listen, when it was Wilder versus Joshua and they were talking about that fight being made in 2018, 2017, 2019, like around that time before each of them took a loss, I was always picking AJ. But I'm like, that this AJ is not the same one from fucking
No,
2018.
we're
This
not
this
looking
is
at the same
this is
age.
somebody else.
Yep.
Because this dude was aggressive,
Yep.
one of the best finishers in boxing, probably the second best finisher in boxing, only behind Terrence Crawford. Because when he was getting guys hurt, he was finishing them off, and it was just like after he got hurt by what's this guy Ruiz,
Mhm.
it's almost like he's like, fuck it, man. I'm always gonna play it safe. I feel like he's just made that
Yeah.
decision. I went through a bad thing. I got knocked out in Madison Square Garden. I'm always gonna play it safe from here on out. I feel like that what his attitude was.
Yeah, because if you go back to the Dillian White fight, I mean, he didn't care about nothing. He was fighting with a reckless abandon. He wasn't worried about that. That was a hell of a fight. You know, they were going at it. Them two dudes were going at it. And you
Yeah, he
didn't
got dropped.
Yeah, you didn't see that same worry like you're talking about now. Now you watch him fight and he's worried about his chin. He's staying out of danger. But go back to the Dillian White fight and you don't see that. He's getting his hands dirty. He's letting his hands go. He's not really worried about getting hit. But now you watch him fight and he has that worry in him. And I've always, I'm not going to say that Joshua has a weak chin, but I will say that he doesn't take punches well. That's just something about him. He doesn't take them well. He gets hit and you can see his knees will lock up and he'll get stunned for a second. So I just noticed about AJ. He was always my favorite heavyweight. I mean, today he probably still is my favorite heavyweight, man. But I will admit about him, I don't like the way he takes punches, man. They seem to lock his knees up a lot.
Yeah, you know what it is? Sometimes, like tucking your chin a little bit more makes a fucking world of difference. Believe me. Like if you're even if you have your chin like this, having your chin like this a little bit more makes a world of difference on how you take a punch.
That's what the Charlos do. The Charlos hide their chin really well, man. They keep that motherfucker tucked good, man.
You know who else tucked their chin real well? Cambosos in that Teofimo fight. His chin was tucked so well
That's
that
right.
when Teo was because Teo landed some shots,
Yeah.
it wasn't he wasn't moving Cambosos as much as Teo, because Teo's got power as much as he did in the past, and it was because I felt like how good he tucked his chin.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody needs to work on that with AJ. On top of the fact that he needs to work on his mentality, as we spoke on already. But tucking that chin can make a world of difference for AJ.
Even this Saturday, did you see him this Saturday at the Coley fight?
I did see him with Adesanya. They both walked out Okoli.
Like you were saying, he's just such a nice guy. He's always smiling. You just can't rattle him. You just never see that dark side come out of AJ. And I agree with you. He does need a trainer to bring that out.
He needs to be a fucking asshole.
Yep.
I hate to say it like that, but like he needs to really not that's probably the wrong one. He needs to come across as dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He needs to walk in a room and people go, "Oh shit, don't piss this guy off."
I
don't feel that way.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't put off fear. Nobody fears him. The energy's not there, so everyone's just like, "Fuck it, let your hands go."
Yeah, listen, Mike Tyson will walk in a room right now and half the motherfuckers in there are scared. And
Even
he's not, he's not active. He's a retired old man. Anthony Joshua should have that feeling. When he walks in a room, shit, let me not piss this guy off. Yeah. Now I look at, like, if we were in the street, I wouldn't be scared of AJ just off the energy he gives. I'll be like, yo, what's up? Like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, like some people, they see athletes and they start heckling them,
Yeah.
You wouldn't, you heckle AJ, he's going to laugh at you.
Yeah.
You heckle someone like let's just say Charlos. Since we're talking about the Charlos a lot, you heckle the Charlos, and they might fuck around and run up on you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're not. They're gonna make you feel uncomfortable.
Yep. I mean, you seen one of the Charlos the other day. Someone said, "Hey, what about Canelo?" And he slapped the phone out of the dude's hand. You know what I mean? I don't think we would ever see AJ do something like that.
Yo, that's always my biggest fear, man. Like, I'm not somebody who you could just smack the phone out of and me not do something. Like, I'm not a tough guy. I'm not a gangster, but I'm just saying, if I'm interviewing you and you smack the phone or camera out my hand, I cannot guarantee I'm not. And listen, I'm gonna take an L. Can you imagine me fighting AJ or Wilder? Like, I'm gonna take the L.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna stay just you smack the camera out my hand.
Oh, let me pick my phone up now. You know what I mean? Hell no, man.
Nah, man. Nah. You again, that's why again, I don't know why. I don't know if you feel the same way, but you remind me of me. So I know exactly I know you know exactly the mentality that I have.
Well, and my real daddy's from the East Coast, right? So I've always had an East Coast mentality when it comes to everything. You know, the way I talk a lot, I cuss a lot, I'm really aggressive, I'm really passionate about my sports, and I'm really hard on my teams. And I think that comes from the East Coast. Out here in the West Coast, I've noticed they're really soft on their teams. You know, the radio shows, they won't call their coaches out, they won't call their players out. But if you listen to East Coast talk radio, my God, they don't care. They will call their coaches out, their players get called out. So when it comes to my sports, I'm more of an East Coast mentality guy. You know what I mean? And I have my family's my father's from the East Coast. He's from Boston. So
I was gonna ask you from where.
Yeah, I'm more of an East Coast mentality when it comes to my sports. You know, that's just how I am.
Yeah, no. It definitely is like that. New York sports radio, we rip motherfuckers.
Yep.
Like,
and I love it.
No, but honestly, you know, it's weird to me when people are not like that. And I guess because I'm biased because I grew up out here. I went to Cali. I went to Anaheim. It was Yankees versus the Angels. And I was over there talking major shit. And I was expecting like some pushback. And there were people there just kind of like laughing, recording me. Like, nobody really was like, the fuck out of here, Angels all day. Like, everybody was just kind of like, huh? Like, you do that shit in Yankee Stadium, it won't go well for you. I'm not saying nobody will do nothing to you. I'm talking about like in terms of shit talking. That shit is not gonna go well for you. You go over there in another team jersey talking crazy shit. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, they don't like that out here. Even me, like recently, not even I'm gonna say about it's been a while now, but me and my cousin, we went to and my cousin's a big time Yankee fan. So he approaches it the same way. He goes to the Yankees and A's series all the time, and he's getting into freaking this dude. My cousin's crazy, bro. I won't go to him. I won't go with him. He wants me to go with him. I won't go. He goes to Oakland Coliseum and he's getting kicked out. He's crazy. The dude's crazy, right? So we go to a Sacramento Kings, Philadelphia 76ers game.
Yeah.
And we're both Sacramento Kings fans, and we're just letting the Kings have it. We're letting our own players have it. Man, the people around us are getting so offended, and we're not cussing.
They're just trying.
The people around us are getting so offended that they get us kicked out the building, brother. We got kicked out of the Sacramento Kings arena for just heckling our own players. And the other Sacramento Kings fans around us, they were offended. They looked at us and said, "What are you even doing here?" And all we're doing is giving our own players a hard time, not disrespecting them, not cussing at them, just making fun of them, giving them a hard time. Funny. We were being funny. They got us kicked out of the building.
Well, that's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. It's funny you mentioned crazy cousins because the first Yankee game I ever went to, I was like 14, and my cousin, he's a year older than me. So if I was 14, he was 15. And at the end of the game, there was a ball boy in the dugout in the bullpen in the Yankee Stadium, and he had a bunch of towels. And we're like, "Yo," it had the Yankee symbol. We're like, "Yo, throw us a towel. You got a stack." Like, he's like, "Nah. If I could, I would. If I could, I would." My cousin grabbed. There was a bag of peanuts. My cousin grabbed it and just started chucking them at him. Yo, I was like, "Yo," he was like, "Hey." He dropped the towels. And we fucking booked it after that. You bringing up your crazy cousin made me remind me of that. But hold on, let me respond to somebody in the chat. You would be OD scared of AJ. I'm not a pussy like you, bro. I listen, man. I carry myself like a grown man. And again, I don't disrespect nobody, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be scared of AJ. Now, if you're telling me, oh, get in the ring with AJ, that's different. But if you're telling me he just walk in a room, he doesn't give off that energy for you to be scared. You understand
And
what I'm
I mean,
saying?
I don't get it twisted. Like, no, we're not going to walk up to AJ and
No,
disrespect him like
no,
that.
no, no, no,
But,
no,
I
no.
mean, to say, "Hey, AJ, you know what happened that night with Ruiz," or to ask him, you know, a question. I don't think he puts off that aura. Like you would have to be scared to ask him
A tough
maybe
question.
a
Yeah.
tough question. You know, like, "Hey, AJ, what happened with Usyk that night? AJ, what happened, man? You look like you were going to die in that 12th round." You know what I mean? He just doesn't put. I think AJ would look at you and start laughing. You know what I mean? So no,
Yeah.
I don't mean walk up to AJ and disrespect him.
No, hell,
Not
I
in
would
that.
never. First of all, in general, I did a personality test, and on my personality test is I'm really high on respect of others and respect of myself.
Yeah.
Like people respecting me, so I'm real big on respect. But so I would never walk up to fucking a random stranger in the street and disrespect them. But I'm not. Again, I'm just saying, like you said, if I have a question to ask to AJ, I'm not gonna be intimidated to ask him. Now, I may be a little bit intimidated to ask, Mike Tyson about his rape case
For
because Mike
sure.
Tyson might smack the shit out of me, and then I might have to fight Mike Tyson, and we both know I'm not winning that shit.
Even to ask Mike Tyson, "Hey, Mike, what happened that night with Buster Douglas, man?" You're like,
Yeah.
I don't know about asking him that. You know, I don't want to bring that up to Mike. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like there's certain questions that you're a little scared when it's a person about that life. And Mike,
For sure.
Wilder gives across that energy too.
Yes.
Like when he
Yeah.
walks in a room, he's one of the hardest power punches on top of that. And he's just walks in the room. He walks in the room head high like a man.
I mean,
And
and
Anthony Joshua's too, like he comes across like as a silly teenager to me.
yeah, just super nice guy, just super fucking nice guy, family man. I mean, you've seen what Wilder did to Radio Raheem. You know what I mean? Like we've seen it already. We've seen
Yeah,
it, man.
that shit is classic. To this
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
To this
man.
day.
But you bring up personality tests, man. I'm kind of scared to do a personality test. I don't think I want to know the answers to that, man.
Nah. Yeah. It honestly, it was good because it reveals a lot about yourself that you didn't realize. So what they do is they ask you a series of questions like, "Oh, would you prefer this or you would prefer that? Oh, are you more quiet in social situations? Or are you more loud? Or in the party, are you making friends? Or do you dance a lot? So it's a lot of questions like that. It's very long though. So
Yeah.
and then at the end, it shows you your results. So it shows you like a pie chart. So it'll have respect here, and the closer your line is to the respect line, that means so I was all the way high. So I'm I'm a very respectful person. You know what I'm saying? But it also shows that if you violate me, like I'm gonna violate your shit like to the maximum extent. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the kind of person I am. Like you never see me on Twitter, on Instagram calling fighters pussies or bitches or anybody unless somebody crosses the line with me. That's the way I've always been. Box Talk 101. What up, brother? Shout out to him.
I think I found you, Broadway, on Box Talk's channel. I think that's how I found your channels through Box Talk.
That is how you found me. I remember, and then I had told Box Talk, I had told Freddie like, "Yo, link us up, man," because I like your energy. I saw a couple of your lives. I was like, "Yo, he cool as shit." So I try to find you on social media, but I'm like, "Yo, this dude don't got social media."
No, just YouTube.
Yeah, I was like, "Damn." So I commented on one of your channels. I was like, "Yo, let's link up," and you said, "Yeah," but again, the time schedule hasn't been working out.
No, Broadway. If I'm a fan of these guys and I support them, then I feel like I've earned the right to criticize them. If I spend money on you, if I go to your fights, if I talk about you on my channel, if I spend any of my personal time on you, then I feel like I have the right to criticize something, my opinion. Like, for instance, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was the biggest Ryan Garcia fan on YouTube. I was arguing with people about Ryan. Everybody brings up Ryan's social media and his Instagram, but it seemed like nobody was bringing up what he was doing inside the ring. He's knocking these dudes out inside the ring, and every time I bring it up, they say, "Oh yeah, but those are weak fighters." And I'm like, "Hey, the kid's 21. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing to the guys that he's fighting." So he was catching so much unfair criticism, and I was going to war for this kid 2 years ago. But here we are now today, and over the last year, Ryan Garcia has given me absolutely nothing. And I don't like the direction he's gone since the Luke Campbell fight. I don't like some of the things he's done since the Luke Campbell fight. Backing out of fights, ignoring Devin Haney when Devin Haney's sitting right there saying, no, I don't want to fight Devin. I'm going to go fight Tank. When we all know that wasn't realistic.
And then he was going to fight Pacquiao after that.
Yeah, and then it went to Javier Fortuna. And then he backed out the Javier Fortuna fight due to mental illness. Well, in that time that he was out with mental illness, then he was criticizing other fighters, Tank and Devin. And I think maybe, I don't know if he criticized Tio, but he's supposed to be sitting out for mental health, but yet he's tweeting, criticizing other fighters. I didn't like that. Then he had the Jojo Diaz fight. The Golden Boy was going to set up the Jojo Diaz fight when Jojo Diaz beat Javier Fortuna. When he stepped in for Ryan, he beats Javier Fortuna, earns the shot at Devin, and then Ryan comes back into the picture and now is going to fight Jojo Diaz when Jojo Diaz earned his shot to fight Devin to become a champion. I didn't like that. Yeah, I didn't agree with that shit at all. Luckily, he ends up getting injured, and Jojo Diaz did get his shot at Devin. I didn't care who won. I just said, hey, if Jojo Diaz fights to become a number one contender, well, then he earned that spot. And I spent money. I think I seen no, that was a different fight. I went to that fight to watch Jojo Diaz fight Javier Fortuna because I knew the winner of that fight was going to get their shot at Devin Haney. So when I went and seen Jojo beat Javier Fortuna, I said, okay, now Jojo earned his shot to fight Devin. But then here comes Ryan and jumps in the middle and is going to take that fight away from Jojo. Not away from Devin, but away from Jojo.
No. He was taking it away from Devin because Jojo was dancing around signing the contract with Devin Haney. But then once the Ryan Garcia fight became available, he was like, I'm gonna make more money with Ryan Garcia. So he signed. He went to go fight Ryan Garcia. And for sure. Devin Haney had he not fought Jojo Diaz, who the fuck was he gonna fight?
Who, Devin?
Yeah.
No, it had to be Jojo. And I agree with you. I just don't want to put too much like, sometimes I get criticism because I'm from Northern California and I represent Devin Haney a lot. So I get called a Devin Haney fanboy. So I don't want to make it all about Devin. So I'm just going to say, if Jojo earned his shot at that title, well, then that should be Jojo fighting Devin.
Nah, I see what you're saying. By the way, we knew we're not going to get along on this. I'm not big on Devin Haney, bro. I don't think he's a special talent. I don't see what people see in him. I think once he faces Tio, Tank, or Ryan, all of them knock him out. I think Lomachenko beats the shit out of him. I don't think Loma stops him, but I think Loma beats him.
Well, I will say this: he's almost. I don't want to say he's I don't want to say that he. I don't want to use the wrong words. I don't want to use the wrong words, but it seemed like I'm just not too impressed with his last two fights. He just has not been too impressive. But before that, he was showing amazing boxing skills to me for a young 19-year-old. When he was 19 and 20, I was so impressed. But over his last two fights with Linares and Jojo, I just haven't been too impressed.
And Gamboa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And even Gamboa, I thought he went easy on Gamboa, maybe because they were friends or whatever, but I did not like the Gamboa performance. So his last three performances, I have not been too impressed. And
is it a coincidence that his last three performances was when he first started stepping up? The guy's not that good. The guy's not as good as people think. That's just my opinion. And it's a very unpopular opinion. And people call me a hater. People you know how motherfuckers get, oh, you a racist. Bro, I just have an opinion. I don't think I think once he faces in with somebody who's going to rough him up, like if Tio would have got his ass, oh my God, Tio would have fucked him up. Tio would have knocked him out.
Especially because there was so much bad blood. But no, your opinion now is starting to become the more popular opinion. And guys that, are fans of Devin Haney like myself, we're almost starting to become in the minority. You know what I mean? And I've been talking about it on my channel a lot. I can't keep defending the kid. I'm a fan of the kid. I like the kid. We're from the same area, but I cannot continue to defend him. I just have to say, hey, he's got to earn your guys' respect. The guys who are Devin Haney naysayers, that's on him. He's got to earn you guys' respect. That's not on us, Devin Haney fans. It's not on us to argue fucking night and day for him. If you guys don't respect him yet, that's on him. That's on him to earn your guys' respect. So it is what it is, man. I get it, man. I get it, brother, because you're not the only one, brother. It's actually, you guys are actually the majority of boxing fans who just do not respect what Devin Haney brings to the table yet.
Yeah, no, I don't want to say I don't respect it, because I'm not gonna say the guy's a fucking bum. I'm not taking it that far. But what I'm saying is, when they were doing the whole Four Kings shit, I'm like, I've seen Tank score a fucking fantastic knockout of Leo Santa Cruz. You could say Leo Santa Cruz was a smaller fighter, but still, that was knockout of the year. So, I came away very impressed there. Ryan Garcia, we seen him knock motherfuckers out into next week. Of course, I've left impressed with him. And Tio has the best resume out of all of them, beating Lomachenko. So I came away impressed with all three of them at different points. I've never came away from a Devin Haney fight and go, damn, man, like, I cannot believe what I just saw. Wow, that's a real special performance. I've never came away from that. I've came away like, oh, he got talent, he got potential. But when you can't knock out the chinniest fighter of all time in Linares and Gamboa, these two guys who they getting dropped now. They walking down the street, they're getting dropped. And you can't drop either of them. And then you can't drop a guy in Jojo Diaz who pro debut 122. It leaves me to concern. You don't have enough power to keep people off. And he sometimes like freezes up in the pocket, I feel. And what's gonna happen? Because he got roughed up in that 12th round against Jojo Diaz. I want you to tell me what is he gonna do when it's Tank roughing him up? He's not gonna last in this.
It doesn't even have to be Tank. It doesn't even have to be Tank Broadway. It could be Gary Antoine Russell. It could be any of these guys at 140 that he's gonna have to go up and deal with. You know what worried me in the Linares fight is, yeah, you're beating Linares and you're probably winning every round. That's cool, but you're not doing any damage. Linares was still fresh. Sorry, my dog is tripping. Linares was still fresh in the 10th round, 11th round. Yeah, you're winning the fight and you're dominating the fight, but you're not doing any real damage. And what that creates is a fresh fighter in the late rounds who's not beat up, which means he's still dangerous.
That's what he got big.
And what happened? He caught him in the 11th round. So that's an issue. Yeah, you can box your ass off, but if you're not doing any damage to these guys, all you're doing is winning rounds. Then you get into deep waters, and then anything can happen. Anything can happen. Yeah. So he needs to start doing more damage, not just winning rounds, but doing damage to these guys so they're not dangerous in the late rounds. And the last fight I was impressed with was the Abu Dayulev fight. If you remember that fight when he got knocked out.
That was here in New York. That was here in New York.
Yeah, it was in New York. That's the last time that I was really, really impressed with everything he brought to the table. I thought he moved beautifully. I thought he boxed beautifully. And then he ended the fight with that amazing knockout. But Broadway, I haven't seen that same fighter since then for some reason. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if he injured his forearm. I don't know what it is, bro. But it just has not been the same fighter.
Bro, the last time you said you were impressed by him was when he fought Abdullayev. That was in September of 2019.
Yeah.
We're in 2022, man. This guy has not been impressive. It's almost like as soon as he stepped up, he's been not putting these impressive performances. He hasn't been hurting anybody. He hasn't been stopping anybody. And it's like it gets to a point where you can get away with it with these guys, but once you step up to the Tanks, to the Tios, to the Lomas, to the Ryans, even these young guys coming up like William Cepeda and Jose Valenzuela, Rayo Valenzuela, all these guys, they're gonna give him trouble. They're gonna, because I also don't know if he got that dog in him. I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen him had the need to bring it out, but I haven't seen that either. And for me, every fighter has to have it. Even Floyd had it, because Floyd in his younger years was knocking motherfuckers out. But the thing is with Floyd, he started breaking his hands a lot, so he realized like, all right, I have to punch less and be more defensive. And even still, then he would land hard jabs, hard right hands, and hooks. but he just wouldn't throw them in combination as much as he did in his younger years.
Yeah. No, I think the kid has his hands full going up to 140. 140 is shark infested waters, and then now you can add a new name to that fucking pond with Jack Catterall. I think Jack Catterall, he might have not won the fight, but he showed well enough for you to say he's one of the top dogs at 140. He's definitely somebody.
I thought he won.
You got to worry about him, and you got to talk about him when you talk about these top dogs at 140 pounds. I would love to see Jack Catterall fight Regis Prograis. I would love to see that fight, man. I think it's the next fight to be made. I don't know.
Regis is already familiar with the UK market.
Who, Catterall and Prograis?
No, Prograis, because he fought Josh Taylor, so they know him out there.
Oh, they definitely know him, and he's respected in that weight division. I don't know the promotional situation with both those guys, but I don't see why that fight couldn't happen. Hopefully, I want to see Josh Taylor vacate the belts now and open that division back up. And hopefully we can get Jack Catterall versus Regis Prograis for a vacant belt at that division. But the reason I start talking about 140 is because that's where Haney and Ryan and Tio, now that's where they're going into. And you got guys like Catterall, you got guys like Prograis, Antoine Russell, Jose Zepeda. I mean, that is
Subriel Matias, Brandon Lee, Elvis Rodriguez, Jose Ramirez, Jose Pedraza. Come on. I don't know if you watch my channel where I've always said right now the hottest division in boxing is not 135, it's 140. Regis Prograis, Jose Pedraza, Jose Ramirez, Subriel Matias, Brandon Lee, Richardson Hitchens, Elvis Rodriguez, all these guys, and it's a stacked division, and the fact that Tank has fought a 140 before, Tio said he's moving up. Catterall's now a player in the game. Devin eventually is going to move up. Ryan is eventually going to move up. This division is going to be a real fun division for boxing.
You name all those names, right? And you name names like Regis and Jose Ramirez and Jose Zepeda. Those are full-grown 30-year-old men in the prime of their career. And you keep listing names. It's not only top-heavy.
It's bottom-heavy, too.
Bottom-heavy, too.
Prospects.
Brandon Lee, Antoine Russell, Matias. I mean, it's just stacked. It's just freaking stacked.
Elvis Rodriguez, Richardson Hitchens. The list goes on and it's on and on. It's ridiculous. And what I like about it is the contenders now, mostly with top ranks. So those fights are more likely to happen, whether it's Pedraza, Ramirez, Tio, Taylor. I don't know who's Catterall with.
I'm not sure exactly who he's with. I'm not sure.
I think he's with Frank Warren, but either way, he has a relationship with Top Rank. So those fights are makeable. And then when you look at the prospects, you got Matias PBC, Elvis Rodriguez PBC, Brandon Lee PBC, Antoine Russell PBC, Richardson Hitchens PBC. So these fights are makeable. You know what I'm saying? On the top end, as well as the bottom end, when these guys are developing and maybe grab a vacant belt when Josh Taylor moves up. Also, Montana Love is at 140.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Another name. I mean, I was just going to say that. It seemed like every month another name gets added to that shark-infested waters, man. Every single month there's another name being added to that division.
Who are you most high on in terms of the prospect guys? Not Pedraza, Zepeda. Those are the veteran guys. In terms of the young guys under 25 years old, who are you most high on?
In that division?
Yes, 140.
Probably Antoine Russell.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because I just think his offensive output, he's so offensively driven that you're going to either have to outbox him or knock him out. One of the two. And I don't know if anybody has that knockout power to hurt him and knock him out. And I don't know if anybody has the boxing skills to stay away from him and outbox him for 12 rounds. I'm not saying that Antoine Russell is the most prettiest technical boxer, but his offensive output, his offensive aggression is just going to be so much for any one fighter to deal with. Victor Postol handled it well, but that's what Victor Postol does.
Yeah, Victor Postol's he's a professional's professional. I like him.
And that's what he does. He survives. He makes it hard for you. You never hit him clean. He's always on the move. He sticks you with the jab at the right time. That's what Victor Postol does. It was a premature stoppage. He should have never been stopped. It should have went all 10 rounds. So, but other than that, the Antoine Russell's offensive output is just so much to deal with. And then 140 is still a small guy division, right? You start getting up there, but they're still small guys. And Antoine Russell got some size on him. So I don't know if anybody will be able to handle his offensive output.
I don't. I'm not that big on Antoine Russell because he's so offensive. And if you put him in the ring with Brandon Lee,
I heard that yesterday.
Vicious, huh?
I heard that yesterday. Somebody was saying that yesterday.
You've seen Brandon Lee get these highlight reel knockouts. Like, it's almost like when he punches somebody, the reaction that person has, like, it's like, whoa, this guy can crack. I've had somebody who's really deep into the business of boxing tell me that, oh, Brandon Lee's not that good. And I don't know whether that's true or not on his end, what he sees. There's somebody who has way more experience than me, but I'm like, but the power is there, and Antoine Russell is there to be hit. If you're not going to convince me that Antoine Russell is going to go in there and take whatever Brandon Lee hits him with and keep coming forward. I don't see anybody at 140 do that. But who I'm most high on, and this may be me being biased, but I honestly don't think I am. But it's Elvis Rodriguez. I really like what I've seen from him. He took that loss to Kenneth Sims Jr., but Kenneth Sims just beat another undefeated fighter. And if you saw that fight, he just got outboxed. And, Top Rank didn't want him to take the fight, but his manager forced Top Rank to put him in. It's a whole fucking thing. But Elvis Rodriguez, he not only does he have power, he also has like subtle skills where if you don't know boxing, you don't see, he'll kind of catch and shoot, or he'll slip and then throw that left hand. And if you saw his last fight, he just knocked out an undefeated Mexican Olympian in his last fight on the Canelo undercard. I really like him. I like how sharp his punches are. And
no, Broadway, I was so high on Elvis Rodriguez. I don't know the timeline, maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I was so high on Elvis. And then before he took the L, the fight before that, he was
when he fought the Argentinian guy.
Yeah, he didn't look that good in that fight. He looked kind of just regular in that fight. When before that, he was looking amazing. So then he fought the fight with the Argentinian guy, like you just said. He wasn't that impressive in that fight. Then he ends up taking the L. He wasn't impressive in that fight. And then Top Rank dropped him. And people didn't understand why Top Rank dropped him. I didn't know why neither, but I thought to myself, well, I know he didn't look good in his last fight. He ends up taking the L in this fight. Maybe there might be some training issues or some type of issues out the ring. But then didn't he just switch trainers?
No, he's with Freddie Roach.
He was always with Freddie Roach the whole time?
Yeah, always. And I actually have insight as to why Top Rank. I spoke to somebody at Top Rank, and what they told me is that his manager was an asshole.
Oh.
And so this was more of a personal thing. And so what basically happened is he wanted him to move him up quick because he was like, they wanted him against Josh Taylor before Josh Taylor moved up. And Top Rank was like, listen, Josh Taylor's a great fighter. Your kid's coming up. He's talented, but we don't want. They're like, no, match him in tough. So he brought Kenneth Sims Jr. to Top Rank. He's like, let us fight this guy. And they're like, wait a minute. Kenneth Sims is a good fighter. He has 2 losses, and he was like, no, my fighter's ready. It was a whole like argument. And so then they were like, all right, so fuck it. They put him in against Kenneth Sims. He took the L, so they released him kind of like as a fuck you. I told you not to put him in that fight.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more of a personal thing. And again, he got signed in fucking 3 minutes by PBC.
Yeah.
And then they put him in tough. They put him in against an undefeated guy, and he knocks him out.
You said those subtle movements and subtle skill set that you just brought up a second ago. I've seen it, man. I've seen it with him. He's nice, man. He's nice. He has before that sloppy fight I brought up with the Argentinian guy. I was telling everybody, you're talking about Virgil, you're talking about Ryan, you're talking about Devin. Elvis had a better skill set at that time than all of them. Elvis was looking better than all of them at that time. But then Elvis just went on a cold streak for a minute there. You know what I mean? But I was so big on Elvis Rodriguez Broadway about like a year and a half, 2 years ago, man. So big on Elvis.
No, I totally agree with you. I'm still high on him. Like even after he took the loss, I'm like, I remember he knocked somebody out with a jab, and Tim Bradley was just kept like, I remember Tim Bradley kept raving how that's his favorite prospect and he can't wait for his next fight.
Yep.
And he even pulled Elvis Rodriguez to the side one time and told him how important abdominal work is, and like, so, you know, work out his abs, and how like Elvis Rodriguez spoke how he incorporated that more into his training because of Tim Bradley. And I was really high on the kid. I'm Dominican. Elvis Rodriguez Dominican, so I was super hype, and then he took the L. But again, I'm still high on him. I still think he has a good chance of being one of the best at 140. I honestly, that's the prospect I'm highest most on from the guys we mentioned: Montana Love, Matias, Russell, Brandon Lee, Richardson Hitchens. The guy I'm highest on is Elvis.
What? Okay, now all those names. Who do you feel like is a little bit overhyped? I have a name. Let me hear if you have a name. Who do you think is overhyped at 140?
You're gonna disagree with me, but I think Russell, man.
Okay,
I think he gets hit too much.
No, I'm not surprised. I've heard that yesterday too. You're not the only one. People are still not sold on Russell, so I understand. The guy that I'm not high on is Matias, man. I don't like Matias's stance. I don't like his posture. I don't. He looks like a kickboxer to me. I don't like his footwork. Yeah, he's a little bit aggressive. He has nice straight, sharp punches, but I just don't like his footwork. I don't like his posture. There's just things about Matias that I do not like, and I think that he'll be the first one to be exposed.
I mean, he already took a loss, you know. He already took a loss. He avenged his loss and avenged it in knockout fashion, but he's already lost. And I do see what you're saying. He is sometimes like just a brawler, and I don't mean that in a complimentary way, kind of like in a you're better than that. Why are you doing that? Kind of in that kind of way. But I do think his power is legit. He actually killed a man in the ring before. Like
who did it? Was it Day or did he beat Day?
Dadashev.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's also somebody who took a loss and got released by ESPN by Top Rank. He's also another one.
That Top Rank, man, they don't mess around, man.
Yeah, but he's Puerto Rican, and here in New York City, there's a lot of Dominicans and a lot of Puerto Ricans. The potential for Subriel Matias, Elvis Rodriguez here in Madison Square Garden. Let's say they go on to each get a belt. Yo, bro, that fight will be crazy. They're gonna need extra security if it's Dominicans versus Puerto Rico in the Garden here in New York. But I'm telling you, that's a potential big fight. If you know, because you know you can stumble into a vacant title. If they can make him stumble into a vacant and have Elvis stumble into another vacant, that's a big money fight. Believe me, especially here in New York, it'll sell out on the Puerto Rican Day Parade or something like that. Yeah,
for sure, man.
But what's your opinion on Brandon Lee? Do you think or do you think he's anything?
I'm still waiting to see more from Brandon Lee. I like you know his youth that he's bringing to the table. I like everything he's doing. I've seen him at already 3 different events, so he's really out there and trying to get his name out there. The thing about the PBC prospects is they move them kind of slow. And when I say move them slow, I don't mean actually in the ring. I mean like promotional wise. They kind of don't promote their youth as much as they should. And it's with Boots Ennis. It's even with Antoine Russell. They're a little bit behind when other promotional companies like Top Rank, not DAZN, but Matchroom and Golden Boy, their young fighters are out there. They're known. Virgil Ortiz, Ryan Garcia, even Jaime Munguia. Yeah, Jaime Munguia. They put their youth out there, and PBC seems to slow play that part. And okay, if you're going to slow play him in the ring, I'm okay with that. I don't have no problem if you slow play a 22-year-old. I don't have no problem with that. But talk about him. Get his name out there. Get some attention around this kid. And that's what I think, to me, Brandon Lee is missing right now. Brandon Lee needs to be more known. Somehow, some way, more people need to know about Brandon Lee.
I mean, those highlight reel knockouts, man. But I forget the guy he knocked out last. I think it was 2 knockouts ago.
Like Broadway. When was the last time Brandon Lee has fought? When was his last fight?
You know what's funny? His last fight, was like buried in some undercard that I didn't even see his last fight.
And that's my point I'm trying to make, brother, is that this guy's like they're hiding him. You know what I mean? Like he should be out there. He should be on 3 or 4. The same way Top Rank is moving Xander Zayas is the same exact way PBC should be moving Brandon Lee.
Bro, he fought. The last time he fought under Nonito Donaire, Raymark Gaballo undercard, but off TV.
And they do that. PBC does that. They were doing that to Rolly Romero for a little while. They were putting Rolly Romero's fights on untelevised undercards. And I was pissed. I was pissed that how are you not going to put Rolly Romero on TV? I don't like that PBC does that. I just do not like that PBC does that, man. These are the guys that need to be on TV. We need to see those guys. The casuals, everybody needs to see your young youth. Your young talent that you have ready to come up next, everybody should be seeing those. They were doing the same thing to Rolly Romero a few years back.
Yeah, my bad. It actually was on TV. I guess I must have missed that because I'll be moving around, but I don't remember watching the fight. I do remember watching the main event, the Nonito Donaire knockout. But yeah, I agree with you. The thing is with PBC, they do a good job in the sense, like if you look at the biggest names, Tank, Wilder, Spence, they're all on the PBC side. So they obviously have something that works out for them.
Yeah.
But what I do feel about PBC is missing is that one guy you point to where they're the one talking to the media, they're the ones doing the promoting, as opposed like Eddie Hearn is somebody who, yeah, he's out there talking about his fighter all the time. Same thing with what's his name? Bob Arum. He's out there giving interviews, talking, and giving you like a mouthpiece for him, because sometimes fighters, they need to be busy with training and they need a mouthpiece to talk for them. PBC doesn't have that. You have to do all that on your own, basically.
Yeah,
on the PBC side. But again, it's obviously a formula that's working. They got Errol Spence, most popular welterweight. They got Tank Davis, probably the second or first, depending on who you ask, most popular lightweight. And Wilder, I want to say he's definitely one of the most popular heavyweights. He's among there, like he's in the argument of that.
Tank Davis is like the most popular guy in 3 different weight divisions. Like Tank Davis is popular at 140, he's popular at 135, he's popular at 130. He's like arguably the biggest name in all 3 of those weight divisions, man.
Yeah. No, I agree. The only thing is, I do feel like Ryan Garcia is more popular than him. I just can't prove it, if that makes sense. Like, he hasn't fought anybody where it's going to be a big fight. But when he fought Fonseca, he fought in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah, I was there that night.
Oh, you were there? Oh, that's dope.
I was there. It was a hell of a night.
Was there mad chicks there?
Yeah, I mean regular. Almost every boxing event you go to out here in Southern California, it's full of those. They're everywhere. You know what I mean? So it's always a lot of females out here at these events. It was nothing out of the ordinary. It was regular.
I only ask because people always make it seem like, no, he has a big female fan base and this and that, and I'm like, I've never been to one of his fights, so I never agree or disagree. But since you went to a fight, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, it was a great event. It was a great night. Jorge Linares, that's part of the reason why I thought Jorge Linares was so dangerous here recently, is because he was on the undercard. He was actually the co-main event, and he knocked his fighter out in the 4th round. Mm-hmm. And he was fighting a younger fighter, and he set him up beautifully. He knocked him out with the same punch 2 times in a row. In the 2nd round, he knocked him down. In the 4th round, he knocked him completely out. He set him up with a jab to the body, feinted the jab to the body, and came up top and rocked that kid. It was a great card. Beck the Bully was on that card. It was a great card, and it was a great event, man. It was a great event. So, yeah, and I remember them saying 12,000.
Oh, well, I read a ESPN article. It said 10,300 and something people.
You never know. You never know really what the exact numbers are, but 10, 12, that's in the same range.
Yeah, that's that's nothing.
But 12,000 for a young kid like that.
No, 12,000.
That's a good number
for fighting Fonseca.
Yes.
Who the fuck is Fonseca?
Yeah.
When was the last time Fonseca fought?
I don't even before that. I don't even know. And after that, I don't remember.
Yeah,
I think
that's my point. Nobody knows who this guy is.
no.
Nobody gives a shit about him, and he sold 10 to 12,000, depending on what number.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? This
Yep.
dude, if he was to be fighting, let's say, Tank, Devin, Tio, Loma, that easily sells out wherever that fight was, because now you giving it's a two-face bill, not just, oh, Ryan Garcia is fighting some guy that maybe you heard of, maybe you saw Fonseca get knocked out by Tank, maybe, and it's like, no, you putting him in against a guy in a competitive match, he sells those out, man. I think he's a big draw. I don't like that he's with the Zone, man. Honestly, I hope the Zone just gets out of the boxing business. I don't know.
Wow, really? I am a huge supporter of the Zone. I thought for me, the Zone has brought back boxing just so much more into my life. I love that I have the Zone that I can always just go to, and there's boxing content on their channel. Almost every weekend they got boxing cards. They're like 80% boxing, and I just love that we have a channel that we can just go to and just boxing.
The thing is with the Zone, right? As a hardcore, it's good. It's great. It's not good. It's great for boxing as a hardcore. But all right, let's say you want your man's who's a casual wants to watch the Ryan Garcia fight.
Yeah.
Yo, what channel is it on? I mean, you got to download this app and you got to pay $20 a month, and you know, now they're gonna be giving pay-per-views too, so you might have to buy pay. And it's like, I'm not doing that shit. Like,
well, I can't defend that people because they're going against their whole. Oh man, I had the perfect word, man. Their whole thing was they were gonna kill pay-per-view. That was their whole thing. That they weren't going to do pay-per-view, and this was death to pay-per-view, and now they're doing a pay-per-view. So I can't defend that part. I don't like it. You know, that I pay for DAZN. I've been paying for DAZN since day one. I'm locked in at $10 a month. They told me it'll never change because I've been a DAZN subscriber since day one. So they told me that price will never change for me. So it's $10 a month for me. Now they're going to charge me pay-per-view. Like, that was your whole thing. That was your guys' whole thing, is that we weren't doing pay-per-view no more.
I felt disrespected, to be honest. That's honestly how I felt. I felt like, damn, man, like I haven't been as loyal as you since the beginning, but I did subscribe. I have been a subscriber definitely for over a year, or maybe possibly two. And it's like, yo, I've been giving you my money consistently. You've raised the price on me, and now you still fucking giving me pay-per-views.
They definitely raised the price on you guys, and that's what I was worried about. Was my price going to raise? And they told me, nah, because you are from the beginning that you are locked in at $10 a month. So I like that part about it. No, for me, Broadway, a big thing about boxing for me is that I never knew where to find it. It was hard to find. It was hard to talk about boxing. It was hard to keep up with the sport of boxing. So I found two things at once, Broadway. I found YTBC, and I found DAZN. And for me, Broadway, that just woke my boxing. It woke it up out of my soul, and it hasn't looked back since. You know what I mean? Like, I've always been a boxing fan my whole life, but boxing's hard to find. Boxing's hard to keep up with. Boxing's hard to talk about. But with the addition of DAZN and the YouTube boxing community, oh man, boxing has took my life over. It's awakened out of my life, and man,
you have a box. You have a box yourself?
No, just fucking around with my friends. Never professionally, never even trained in a gym. But growing up, we always boxed. Like, we boxed. If there was a boxing event on, we had the gloves out and we were boxing. I remember boxing 3 boxing matches in a row the night Floyd Mayweather beat Oscar De La Hoya. And I also made $300 on Floyd Mayweather that night.
That's fire.
I'm from where I'm from. Where I'm from is a lot of black and browns, right? In Northern California. But my family and my friends, well, most of my family, they're all Mexicans, right? So they're all fucking Oscar. I knew Oscar wasn't beating Floyd. So I made some good money that night. But I remember that night that we had them boxing gloves on all night long. So I never boxed in a gym, but I grew up boxing, and I grew up trying to copy the boxers. So I would copy their moves, and all of us.
Little Roy Jones on him.
Yes, yes.
That's dope. You know what's funny? In my neighborhood here in Brooklyn, we used to throw the gloves on too. I actually did like go to a gym and spar and do all that, but I remember one time. So my brother was like the biggest bully here in Brooklyn. Like he was knocking motherfuckers out, like on some real shit. Like he was really putting in work. And so we brought the gloves out. A couple of my boys was getting it on, and nobody wanted to fight my brother. And my brother is huge. My brother is like at that time probably like 350 pounds, like, but solid. Like people think like, oh, he's just a fat dude. Now my brother could probably outrun you, outrun me. This dude is fast. He got fast hands. He actually went into the Golden Gloves and everything. So I ended up putting the gloves on with him, the biggest dude in the neighborhood, who happens to be my brother. And I was the only one. He beat the shit out of me. I ain't even gonna make it seem and tell the story like I won. He definitely beat the fuck out of me. But yo, everybody in the neighborhood had so much respect for me. They're like,
yeah,
yo, like because I was tagging him too. I got my hands on him too. I'm not as big as him, but I'm a pretty big dude myself. So I was landing my shots, but he definitely put it on me. And at one point, he had me up against a fence. He could have easily just knocked my ass out. And obviously, I'm his brother. He ain't doing it. He was just like, yo, you quit? You quit? I was like, nah, I ain't quit. And then like my boys was like, yo, he had enough. He had enough. He had enough. But that was one of like some dope ass. So I remember it was in the summer. I don't know why I just said that. Oh, well, yeah, because you was just saying how you was fighting in the street and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sparred before. I sparred. You did you watch the Contender this past one, the one that was on Epics?
No, I couldn't say it. I don't remember I don't think I did. No.
Nah, there was a dude on there. His name is Devon Lee. Me and him, we used to train in the gym, and we sparred before. He's a 4-time New York Golden Glove finalist. Like he won second place 4 times. And but yeah, I sparred him before. I sparred Will Rosinski. He fought Kelly Pavlik before. Obviously, Will Rosinski took it more easy on me. Like he was more like just working me. He was a professional at the time. He was like 14-0 at the time, but he was just working with me. But yeah, I got some stories. I've been in the ring before.
That's cool, man. That's cool, man.
You got any war stories? I'm talking about like street shit.
Man, I don't want to get into that, man. I told myself, look, man, I've been on here, and one thing about me,
hands. I'm not talking about no gunplay. Just hands.
No. So, I do got one then. Yeah, I got a good one. So one night we're at the bar, right? And out here in Sacramento, there's a huge MMA community, because I don't know, Uriah Faber?
It sounds familiar. I don't know exactly.
He's an MMA fighter. He used to fight in the UFC. Well, he has 2 humongous gyms out here. And when the UFC and MMA started getting real big, it got really big in Sacramento because Uriah Faber was putting Sacramento on the map. And then he opened up 2 really big gyms here in town. And it's not a huge town. So we're out the bar one night, and I got a bunch of my young homies. They're there with me. And I'm just chilling, you know what I mean? I'm just chilling back at the bar while my young guys, they go out into the streets right there and they start causing drama, So I come out like, nah, you guys are too young. I'm always at this bar every weekend. Like, you guys need to chill. Everybody chill. All I'm doing is trying to get my young guys out of there. You know what I mean? I'm known on that area. That was my area. I was there every weekend. But then I bring my young guys out there with me, and they can't handle it. They start wanting to go in the streets and fighting. So they're fighting, and I'm trying to break it all up. Well, this fucking guy, like fucking 6'4", just clocks the side of me, drops me, right? But he doesn't rock me. He just sits me down. And man, so he sat me down right on my ass. Boom! Sits me down on my ass. Well, he gets out of there, right? But he doesn't rock me. So I'm looking at him, and I'm watching the big guy because he's fucking big. So I'm watching him. I get up. He doesn't even stick around to see what happened to me. He just hits me and then tries to get out of there. Tries to wiggle up and out of there.
That's some pussy shit. I
get up, and my eyes are locked on him the whole time. But this whole time, these little guys are out here fighting each other. So I get up, and I go one way around the crowd. He goes the other way around the crowd. This motherfucker walks right back into me. And he don't even know what's about to start coming. So right when I get close to him, we make eye contact, and the first thing this dude does is cover up. First thing he does, man,
You knew what it was.
I let this dude have it with about 8 or 9 hooks to where he's down on his knees and I'm still just hook, left, right. The bouncers tackle me. They slam me on the ground. They won't let me up. Finally, they let me up and they tell me that this guy is some type of professional UFC fighter. You know, they don't tell me who. And then I got a buddy who's like super big into jiu-jitsu here in town. He has his own jiu-jitsu gym and he does jiu-jitsu tournaments, fucking black belt. He does his thing in jiu-jitsu. Well, the jiu-jitsu community is kind of linked in with the MMA community. Yeah, so he starts telling me about this dude, who he was, and I'm telling him, there's no way, bro. There's no way.
I fucked him up. Like, what are you talking about?
Bro. And when the dude got up, this dude was leaking from both sides, from the middle of his nose. And my boys tell me, you know who that was? You know who that was? And I'm like, there's no way it was him. He's like, that's him. That was him. And I guess it's some popular dude, but man, I gave it to that dude, man.
Who was it? Do you remember the name or not?
I don't. Still to this day, I don't even remember his name. I didn't really care. All I knew is that dude sucker punched me, and he sat me on my ass, man. Sat me down, bro.
Yeah,
but he didn't rattle me. He didn't rattle me, so I was able to keep my eyes on him.
Yeah,
that's a story I got, man. That's probably like the most popular. And then in that same corner one night, I was always on that damn corner.
Remind me, if I ever go to Sacramento, remind me never to chill in this corner.
Yeah, no, that's a lot more chill now, but because I'm not around there no more. I'm upstairs at this pool hall, and this corner is cracking. It got a pool hall, it got restaurants, it got bars. So I'm upstairs at the pool hall, and they call me and tell me, hey, this guy just beat up, our friend, So I'm like, what? I guess my friend just got beat up really bad downstairs, So I run down there, and when I run down there, I instantly see the guy who did it. It's a light-skinned black guy, and he don't got no shirt on, and he got cornrows, and he's huffing and puffing. I said, oh, that has to be him. I don't see my friends nowhere to be found. I said, that has to be him. He's the only one out here huffing and puffing with his shirt off.
Yeah, acting all tough. Yeah.
No, so I run right up to this guy, right? And we start going at it. Next thing I know, he got me in a headlock. And his buddy is trying to hit me while he got me in the headlock. So these guys are giving it to me pretty damn good, man. So all I could do at this point was just pick this dude up that had me in the headlock, and then we're just both going down together. Boom! We both go down together. So it was a big chaos. I got my ass whooped that night. I came up with a swollen left eye. I came up with a dislocated shoulder. They gave it to me that night, man. Them two dudes, they fucking gave it to me that night, man.
We've all taken L's, bro. We've all taken L's. Believe me. I'll share a story with you. So one time, it was me, my brother, the same big dude I was telling you about, my boy, and we were all with girls. We each had a girl, and we were walking. It was actually my birthday. We were walking to my house because we were gonna throw a party. So we had picked up the girls. We walk into my house now, and there was some rowdy dudes on my block. Yo, fuck this block, motherfuckers on this block is pussy, this, that, and the third. Shit. But I'm with. They weren't talking to us. They were talking to somebody else. I'm with girls. Like, I'm not trying to scrap. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, niggas on this block is pussy. Okay, good for you. But my boy felt a certain way and was like, Yo, the fuck out of here. We from this block. What up? And I'm like, yo, chill. Like, you being mad aggressive. I'm over here trying to get, I'm trying to get something,
Yeah.
It's my birthday. I'm not trying to fight. I was looking fresh too. I have brand new gear and everything. I believe it was my 18th birthday. And then, so they run up on us. Like, it's like, I want to say 5. It was 1, 2. It was 4 of them. It was 4 of them. And we were three guys with 3 girls. So they were like, what up? So they started like surrounding us. And my girl at the time, she's not my girl now, she was grabbing my arm. And I'm like, yo, like this is a situation where I might have to fight. And you grab my arm trying to pull me away. And so I pulled my arm away. So I'm like, what's up? So there's one of the dudes, he was big. He was like 6'4", like 250, like a big dude. And he sees my brother. So his mindset is like big on big. So he comes up to my brother. My brother just knocks him out cold. Pacquiao, Hatton cold. Marquez, Pacquiao cold. Like, he was out. My brother just went, because he came up and my brother just went. boom, just dropped him. And as that happened, two dudes grabbed my boy who's like talking shit, and they started fucking him up. So when I went to go grab the dude, I got punched in the face by some dude that came from this side. I got punched, and my brother was just there standing over the guy talking shit while my man is getting jumped by two, and I just got snuffed by some dude. So I grabbed the dude by the shirt and I just start like punching him. I have him like by his collar, and I'm just rocking him. And he really couldn't do nothing. Like that's the only punch he landed. I just kept hitting. I don't know if I dazed him or if me grabbing him like wasn't giving him in position to punch, but I was just rocking him. Boom, 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 boom. And then he starts running away, and I rip his shirt as he's running away. So, and then so I'm like, yeah, so what's up? Yeah, I was talking all this shit. So I turn around. Two dudes are still beating up my mans, and my brother's over here talking to the girls, trying to calm them down. So I run over there. I like bulldoze over the two dudes. They fall into a gate. The dude who ran comes back, swings on me. I weaved it, my Floyd Mayweather on. Then the dudes start attacking me, but they ain't really land nothing. It was more like I don't know, like kind of like grappling. I just kind of got away from it.
Scrapples, like
yeah, like they didn't really land nothing. And then I kind of like smacked the dude. I ain't really hit him like that hard. And then like my man's got up. And so we kind of just like yeah. So by that time, his man's the one who got knocked out was getting up. His face looked like a fucking like a truck hit him. And my brother was like, yo, y'all ever come on this block, it's gonna be worse for y'all. And meanwhile, like my man's was fucked up bad, but two of they dudes got fucked up. One got knocked out cold. The other one, I beat the shit out of him with the point where he had to run, and I literally ripped his shirt. His shirt was hanging. He had a collar shirt on. He had like one of those polos, like Lacoste shirt. I ripped that shit. I was like, damn. And then we walked, and we literally went and had the party, son. We had the party.
Hey, that's the best part of the story. Your night was not ruined. You know what I mean? A little bit of action, but you still went home and got the job done.
Yeah, man. Yo, but I'm gonna end the live though. Yo, shout out to you for coming on, man. I was looking forward to this, man. We gotta do this more.
I had to. I've been meaning to. I listen to you a lot while I'm at work, but I'm driving trucks, and then if I try to hit the link, then it's all choppy and who knows. But yeah, I was waiting to catch you at one of these times. So I appreciate you having me, man. It's all love, Broadway.
Nah, for sure. And if you ever need me on your channel for anything, you already know. Just I guess hit the comment section and we'll work it out since you don't got social media or whatever.
And if I'm ever live, man, feel free to ask for the link. If the link, I drop the link a lot. So you already know, brother. You've been on my show a few times. So
yeah, of course.
You're more than always welcome, bro. Always welcome. I love having people that turn their cameras on and that have their own channels. I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, same here. All right, my brother. I catch you, bro.
Peace to your chat, man. Peace to everybody in the chat, man. I'm out.
Yo, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Thank you guys for coming on and listening to our stories as well as listening to me talk about boxing. I won't be going live tomorrow. I know I go live on Wednesday, 7 p.m., but today is a day where, I can't, excuse me. Tomorrow's a day I can't go live. So I went live today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it live, and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you haven't already. And peace.